Welcome to another episode of the Cheerful Soundman podcast. It's a weekly show for event professionals to hear from other event professionals on the challenges and lessons of producing stellar events with a smile. I'm Eric Bunt, the owner of Bunt Backline, an event production company right here in Gainesville, Florida. Today we're talking to John Pop from Gainesville, Florida, of Vivid Sky Productions. I wanted him on because he bought a sound company at the beginning of a pandemic, and I just wanted to see how that was going. And before we dive in, make sure you follow the show on Instagram at The Cheerful Soundman. All right, let's dive in. Well, hey, John.
Howdy.
Thanks for being on.
You called me professional, Eric. That's so nice of you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know,
nice, yeah.
I view you as a professional. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got here, not literally,
Well, I
but
used to be in a band, so. Running joke, Eric and I. So I used to be in a band and stopped that, had a bunch of production gear, and kept getting called to do more productions with the band gear, even when the band stopped playing together. So we were getting pretty busy in 2019 to the point where we were renting stuff from Everyman Sound pretty regularly. And it kind of just came up where Everyman was selling, and our numbers were doing good enough to support buying out the company when we were just projected to do great things. And so put the offer in, and Everyman accepted the offer. And first 2 months we were booming. I think all of us were just crazy lucrative, and then everything crashed down in March.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great time. Yeah, I was joking. The title of the podcast would be "So I Bought a Sound Company at the Beginning of a Pandemic."
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. We'll get into some of that a little bit more. But so when did you get into playing in the band? And we have a joke about him. I walked up on him one time in a trailer, loading a trailer, and the guy was like, "Oh, you really know what you're doing?" He goes, "I used to be in a band." And
Just perfect
he didn't say it
timing.
just like that, but I just walked up at the exact right time, so I've been clowning him ever since.
So
But-
anytime, anywhere, I used to be in a band.
So your band was Morning Fatty, and you guys were started out local band here from Gainesville.
We actually started in West Palm Beach in 2003, and then we brought it here when I went to college at UF, and brought it back to about 2007, 2008, took a 1-year break, and then formed a new lineup with just 4 of us. We used to be a ska band, so there was 10 of us in the band. And then sized it down to about 4 people. Yeah, we played all the way till 2019, till the end of it, or I'm sorry, the beginning of 2019, and just started to do new things. I mean, everybody kind of went their own separate ways, except for Drew, who's part of my company now too. So it's been awesome.
Okay. So you're doing that, and then as you kind of wrapped up, you had all this production equipment and different things from your band days, and kind of continued to support that clientele.
Yeah, we definitely accumulated gear, and we were doing lights and lasers and stuff like that with our show and automating it to run it by itself. So we just increasingly kept getting nerdier and nerdier with our setups. And, we would come in a random place in Minnesota. And I remember it was like a brewery in Minnesota. And there's 30 people here. And here comes us with a 4-hour setup, just lasers, just absolutely automated show. And everyone there is just like, whoa, what
just happened?
What just happened?
I was just here for the local brew.
Why are these guys here right now? What is happening? And we got pretty successful because we had all that time and effort we put into even the smallest of shows. We just went 110%. But that forced us to learn gear and tech and how to do things other people couldn't, like the automating shows without an LD and stuff like that. We just amassed equipment, and when the band stopped playing, some of our contacts was like, "Hey, we need you guys to play," and we're like, "Oh, I can't do it." Well, I could still run the sound. I'm like, wait, I don't have to split this 4 ways now? I get to just take it? That's not a bad deal. So.
Similarly, my first foray into professional sound was for Pat Lavery, now Glory Day Presents, when we were doing shows in St. Augustine in like 1999, 2000. I was like maybe still in high school or just out of high school. And I had the crappiest like carpeted PA that I bought from the pawn shop. And he would pay me $30 to bring my couple PA speakers, a couple 58s on stands. And I remember thinking, I was like, I've made it. Making $30 a show. This is going to be awesome.
Passive.
And yeah, I don't even have to split this. You know, you're thinking all those things. So you kind of naturally got into production from, as like a segue from doing production for your own band, and then it segued into other people calling you and doing those things.
that, and then also Drew he started working for Everyman Sound.
He played guitar in the band?
Drew was the lead singer and guitar player for Morning Fatty, and he started working for Everyman in 2019, and so he got a crash course on just how to do everything. You know, in production, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades, from power, rigging, audio, lighting, just kind of the whole spread. And so he was able to bring some of that knowledge when we bought Everyman, bring his knowledge there, mix with what we were doing, and just keep going. Learn stuff new every day. Learn stuff from you too.
There you go. Yeah, I think for context, it's good to say. So Everyman Sound was, I think, when did he found, like 1986 or something, or maybe even earlier. So he was kind of the regional sound company for many years when regional sound companies didn't even really exist. So it was kind of a trailblazer in that respect. And then, was getting to retirement age, and you came along as well. But definitely been around a long time, and rental business as well as production business.
Yeah, and had a lot of clients and a lot of gear, some older gear as well. Definitely, we brought some new stuff in the mix. It's got a lot of inventory now. Got to do stuff with it.
So now we'll get into pandemic stuff in a minute. So you kind of were right on the front end of that. But what type of, or like scale of shows, what were you doing when you bought Everyman and you started integrating your stuff with his stuff? What, give us a couple examples of stuff you're doing for
definitely
scale.
Smaller stuff, mostly in the frat party realm, where we were traveling just all the major colleges, Clemson and UGA, kind of just traveling around, and we'd do these just party setups, sub 10K party setups basically, and that was kind of our bread and butter. But with enough volume, it became lucrative, and then we were doing a lot of club stuff around Gainesville as well, just lasers and lights and stuff like that. So that was kind of our wheelhouse, and then buying Everyman put me into the corporate scene and larger shows. Like immediately we had Tory Lanez in the O'Connell Center, the second month that I had the company. So it was just like, oh, okay, like
we're doing this
now.
Yeah.
So let's gear up.
Also, I think important and interesting side note, we are technically competitors, our two companies. So we are the two main production companies in the area that can kind of do that scale. As far as there are some other guys that do stuff, but as far as the arena or performing arts center, those type of levels of shows or anything outdoors. So we'll get into that again in a minute. But it's been interesting getting to know you and really, like, not to get sappy, but you're one of my best friends now, and it's funny that all that kind of came out of being competitors, but then realizing that we had a lot more to gain being cooperators than competitors.
I think it was our little lunch date to P&G.
Yeah.
I don't know who reached out to who, but it was basically, hey, let's talk and start this new ownership on the right foot, and that we'll just talk to each other and not be enemies, but just talk.
Full disclosure, there was some animosity with old ownership, and so I think that's why I reached out to say, hey, I don't know what how my name is used around your shop, but I'm guessing it's probably not in a positive light. So I would like to take the opportunity to have a fresh start, and let's get a beer and chat and see how we can be beneficial to one another.
I was like, I don't hate this guy at all.
Yeah.
He's kind of hard to hate, so
well, shucks.
I'll probably just not do that.
It's in general. I mean, that's always, we end with the show with this, but my philosophy is always don't suck, don't be a jerk. So, if you can do those two things, you're doing well. So what's something that you wish you had known going into, I guess for you it'd be not really going into the career of production, but kind of making that transition. Obviously you can't use the pandemic, but like a more general thing, something you wish you would have known or had a little more idea or insight on?
I think this whole thing has just been a learning experience. I mean, it's hard to retroactively say woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's just every month there's something new. We learn something new. And so, yeah, I mean, your mind goes to the pandemic, obviously, but even still, I wouldn't have done it differently. I wouldn't have not bought it because the pandemic was coming, because, it was really tough for 8 months, but we overcame, and now things are kind of getting back to where they were, and they're going to be bigger than where they were. So, not give you a full answer there, but I think we're just kind of learning as we go here. I don't really have too much retroactive.
Yeah. It's hard to know things until you experience them as well.
Exactly.
I think, 'cause, so speaking of not knowing things and experiencing them, what's kind of your biggest production fail or like catastrophe that you've had? And you can leave names and clients out of it if you like, but what's
oh man, catastrophes?
something that's gone terribly wrong?
Oh, okay. So I know one that was stuck out. It was a pacifier show we did in Clemson, and
Is that an EDM group, please?
no, you know what pacifier? Like,
Metal band? Sounds
No,
like a
they're
metal
reggae rock.
No.
It's like your wheelhouse, dude.
Yeah.
I know. It's all right. Check them out. They're
I'll
cool.
listen to it right after
Yeah,
the podcast.
pacifier. So yeah, we're doing their show in Clemson, and it's supposed to be a big fraternity gathering. A couple thousand people are supposed to be this big field, and rain chance was 5% or something like that. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's all good. We'll set up this open field with no stage covering. I've got 12 Sharpies, lasers. The whole stage is completely set, and then just the rain starts coming and doesn't stop. And we try to just trash bag. It says it's going to blow right over, 5% still. So we trash bag it all up, but turns into 6 hours of torrential downpour. I'm like pouring Sharpies over, just dumping water out of them.
God.
5 of them got broken. It was just an absolute nightmare. And lesson learned, don't ever put on a big production like that without covering or without like a game plan. This is exactly what we're going to do if it starts raining, because don't rely on your little 5% radar.
Especially in the southeast here, in Florida and South Carolina is really similar, being close to the, fairly close to the ocean and everything. Especially these summery times of year, it's like, 0% chance of rain, and then next thing you know, your tent's blown over and there's
so
water
miserable.
and everything.
And they wanted to keep going, so we pulled everything into this little overhang and continued to set up for another hour and a half. And by the time we actually got pacifier set up, there were maybe about 10 people there out of the 2,000 that were supposed to be there. And then pacifier played the whole set, under the thing, we're about 10 people. And it was just like, God, what?
So you had more at the brewery in Minnesota than pacifier did.
Yeah.
Is that what I just heard you say? Was that a little humble brag?
No big deal.
No big deal. Oh, man. So, skirted around it a little bit to get my opening questions in, but how's it been with the pandemic kind of screeching things to a halt? I know you had told me you had a really good, beginning, and then how did that play out for you?
It was, January, February were crazy. We had the Tory Lane show at the O'Connell Center, and everything else. Every day was 4 to 5 things coming in, rentals, shows, and on top of taking over a company and introducing myself as the new owner and talking to all these clients, there's a lot of growing pains but we were just busy all the time. And then screeching halt second week of March, and everything just started canceling, and I called you and you're like, yep, same thing, everything's canceling. And then we're like, wow, this is really happening, everything is just canceling. So then it was okay, now we can acclimate to having a new company and organize and do all that. But then once that's done, it's like, okay, now what? Now there's expenses and
Yeah, we were all thinking it was closed for a month, not 6 months,
not 6
9
months,
Yeah.
and paying the guys still. And luckily, we had the UF check cleared like a month later, so we had all that money come in to help pay the employees and keep things floating. But I mean, yeah, it was April. There was pretty much 1 or 2 things, some installation stuff, and then we started getting creative. Enter vertical.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if we're going to go there, go ahead.
Go.
Let's do it.
Oh.
So tell us what vertical is and tell us about that.
Yeah. So the vertical concerts, where we put all of the people in their rooms on a balcony and the stage on the ground. And so basically to keep COVID safe, the audience would go in their rooms and look down on the stage. And telling the viewers this, because you know what's going on with this, because this is about the time where I told Eric about the idea, and he said, yeah, that's pretty rad, let's do it. And that was kind of what COVID has kind of really brought Eric and I together because of the Vivid Vertical thing, and he had interest, and we got put in the fire together and said, like, let's do this, let's try it. And we partnered up for that, and it's been awesome. It's led to a lot of cool things, and led to him and I buying shares in Knockin' Boots in the venue, and just
Yeah,
awesome.
that was a weird one when your competitor, who's becoming your friend, reaches out and was like, "Hey, I got this idea. I don't think I can pull it off solo, especially with like skeleton crew. Would you want to team up on it?" And we were doing a big drive-in tour. That was what kind of saved us during the pandemic, was that particular client doing drive-in shows, as well as we had a couple church clients. And you called me and I was like, okay, yeah, we can do it. Because we ended up like, that was for both of us, I think, foray into like, okay, I guess, does that mean we're a promoter now? So we're also going to actually, no one's bringing us shows, so I guess we'll make the show.
We'll create a custom
create
show.
the thing.
Yeah.
And it went amazingly, that first one in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
And it was a wax motif and
Sunburn.
And
Noizu.
Yeah, so we had an EDM show. People were all on the balconies dancing, having a great time, and we got nothing but amazing feedback from it. I think our only real critique was, I wish I would have known about it, because we are not marketers and promoters, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a part of the whole putting on shows thing that you got to do, is you got to tell people about it.
It sounded great though. It looked awesome.
It was amazing. Yeah,
should have been there.
Yeah, would have been nice. So fast forward then, with that, we continued to team up and actually got a third partner in that particular promotion business, and kind of have kept it separate, and did a New Year's Eve vertical in Daytona, Lee Brice and Tyler Farr, some country stars, and have really gained some traction. And
yeah, that was a big one for us there.
So
awesome.
Would you say, or maybe there's another one, what's the biggest surprise that you've had through the pandemic over the last 6 months or so?
Surprise, other than just losing all the clients.
Surprise!
Surprise! Good luck. Good luck.
What a terrible surprise.
Yeah, it's a terrible surprise. Honestly, this has kind of been the biggest surprise. The relationship between us and with JD, having that third partner, just seeing what this COVID thing has, this opportunity that it's brought all of us. And, we've had the discussion that I think individually we could all work and have a great business as individuals, everything we're doing, but together we're just building something so much bigger, and it incorporates each of our businesses, which is awesome. So everybody's kind of getting fed at the same time. We're building something huge, and that's not something I was expecting to happen. So yeah,
and it's been interesting. So we are partners in that business. Our production businesses, at least right now, are still separate businesses.
Yeah.
Something I've been pleasantly surprised about is kind of the way we've been able to both fuel each other so much over the last several months as things have, because I think we're in the same boat here. So correct me if I'm speaking for you and I shouldn't be, but we've it went from like dead stopped, nothing happening, to all of a sudden like Florida's open, everything's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And for both of us, we weren't we weren't hired up. I was able to retain almost all of my staff. I'm very grateful for that. But we were definitely like more skeleton crew, and we had a few people move on for various reasons. One guy joined the Navy, just different things happened. And so we were definitely at a smaller capacity. And now over the last month or two, as things have kicked back up, it has surprised me how seamlessly we've been able to, kind of work together and go back and forth and say, hey, I need one of your lighting guys and, some strobes and some truss. And can you just meet us here with all that stuff? And we've got the rest of the plan.
Staff and gear has been pretty seamless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. It's awesome.
So where do you see this? This isn't one of my scripted questions.
Nice.
So where do you see? We're about to be in month 5 of the year. So the next 6 months through the end of the year. I'm not going to hold you to a prediction, but like, where do you kind of see things going for both the industry, but as your company as well? Like, what? I'm
going to sell all my crypto and move to Greece.
That's newsflash. Didn't know that.
That's it. So no. So
why Greece though?
I mean,
you are Greek, right?
I'm Greek. Yeah. So it's just
your last name is Papalingus.
Close enough.
Papalingus. Papalingus.
Yeah. That's where pop comes from. Secret revealed. So next 6 months, I think we're going to continue. You and I will continue to grow Knockin' Boots and making it an amazing music venue, which it's already shaping to be. We'll continue with the production, and I want to say we'll start marketing more and doing all this other stuff. But I mean, right now we're just busy.
Why
enough.
would you?
Right now it's like, man, I need to pump the brakes.
If we market anymore, we're not gonna be able to fulfill the work.
I need to market new positions. We're hiring. Shameless plug.
Nice.
Just continue to grow the company, grow our promotion side as well, the Vivid Vertical. We have some massive names that we can't talk about yet, but they are massive. EDM and country. So there's a rock show we're working on too, so we'll continue to flourish that business too. So there's going to be a lot of growth here.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping and kind of predicting by, I think fall here in Florida is going to be pretty bananas, because it normally is anyway. We have football season, all the college kids come back to town here in Gainesville. All those normal factors that make we get a little bit of a sleepy summer, and then it's bananas in the end of August through December. And I think on top of that now everybody's postponed their events, and there's this big pent-up thing, and we've got a lot of reschedules already talking about, we're going to redo our event this time, and it's I am a little scared, to be honest with you, of what that's going to look like. I'm super excited for the challenge, and that's a way that I'd like to be scared.
And it's kind of the opposite of the challenge in March, where everything went away, and it's how do we cope with this? Now it's everything's back, but double, so don't tarnish your reputation by doing bad work. Don't piss clients off because you're not able to service them. Mm-hmm. Do we have to cut clients out because we're just having to pick the right thing, or is it hire more staff so we can service everybody? I mean, it's one of those things we're trying to plan for now. And I know you're dealing with the same exact thing, so it's we'll just plan as hard as we can now, and then see what happens in the fall here.
Good plan. If I were to give you right now $20,000 for Vivid Sky Productions, what would you spend it on? By the way, I'm not going to give it to you.
I was going to say, if this is recorded, you guys all heard that.
Yeah. It's a big if.
$20K right now.
What would you buy, spend it on, etc.?
Oh man, that's tough, because sometimes I want to get things and you're like, maybe don't get that. We could sub-rent that, or
me whatever. Specifically, I'm like that.
Yeah, you specifically.
Somehow I'm a Debbie Downer for your company.
Kind of a Debbie Downer, especially. I'll see a big sale somewhere, and you're just like, or you could not spend all that.
For the audience, John's got a little bit of a problem with auctions. He does enjoy a good clearinghouse.
I sure do. I'll travel around. I'll do internet auctions. I'll jump on my truck and go to a different state and clean an auction house out. But I also tend to overspend.
So if you were to underspend and do $20,000, what would you spend it on?
Back to the question. Yeah. $20,000. What am I getting? More LED walls are obviously, but you can't really get a full. I'd say
That's
more
not really
lasers.
enough.
More lasers.
Lasers?
Lasers.
Yeah.
You can never have enough lasers.
You
I
could
would.
get a few good lasers
Yeah.
for 20,000.
Yeah. You can get a couple more lasers.
I'll sell you a couple
Couple
6
months.
watts if you want.
I will buy those 6 watts.
K-Watts. All right, I got to figure out how much I
already-
want for them now.
yeah.
And I only accept crypto for this payment.
Got it.
All right.
Covered. Got it covered.
If you were not doing production, what would you be doing?
Ooh. So my dad and I said that we'd probably open a restaurant and do that. And I said I would handle the entertainment and the stage and stuff. But I mean, that's already kind of happening. And he would handle all the food side. So it's not really a fair question. I don't know.
I think that's fair. It's adjacent. It's not like
adjacent.
directly. You're not
Yeah.
doing production. You know.
Yeah, I would say probably in the service industry. I mean, I went to school for advertising and business, and I hate advertising, so I probably wouldn't do that. Can't
Fair
stand it. It's good spending of my money at UF.
Yeah. Good times. Good use of the old degree.
Of course.
All right. What is a restaurant that you love that more people should know about?
If it is my go-to. Downtown, best curry and sushi, red carpet roll, Masamon curry, hands down.
Their sushi is good.
Yeah, it's amazing. The Leaning Pig, that's our other little go-to there.
Mm-hmm.
Only open on Wednesday through Saturday, so you got to time it right. But
Worth every moment.
worth
So
every moment there.
I was a big Leaning Pig fan, and then I recently started eating pescatarian, and I was like, oh man, I can't eat at the Leaning Pig anymore. And then I got this like kale salad thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what magic did they put in this?
It's good.
It is amazing. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, so even the meat place, even their kale salad's amazing. It's
It's
off the
good.
hook. It's good.
Lean Pig. for
That-
you.
Yeah, just the lean. So besides restaurants, let's see. So where can people follow you, find you online, find out about your company, those type of things?
Facebook, Instagram. Admittedly, so we're not the best with promoting ourselves. Our social media presence. I mean, our website.
So
Vivid
throw
Sky,
out some of those specifics there.
VividSkyPro.com. The Facebook page, Vivid Sky Productions. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm terrible at plugging our.
Well, as you said before, you don't want to get too busy. You know,
Yeah,
you
get
got
too
to walk
busy
the
here.
fine
Whoa
line
now,
here. You know,
whoa
you can't,
now. Too
can't
much
go too over the
business.
top. Well, I'll say genuinely, my friend, you've become one of my best friends, and I
Oh.
appreciate having you on. It's weird that it's kind of weird to be like best friends with one of your competitors.
Yeah.
But for everyone, I do think there's a good lesson in it because a lot of times it's not just our industry, it's most industries. People get very kind of bent out of shape or protective or like, that all this business, it should all be mine because I'm the best at it or whatever the case is or just entitled to it or whatever else. And I think it's been, I knew this all along and I've always been someone who, a lot of our business is playing nice with others and working with other companies, cross-running back and forth. But I think it's really hit home that there's so much abundance in our world that when we work together, there's actually even an increased abundance versus, trying to hang on to my little piece of the production in Gainesville and try to get every little slice for myself, and that's been a big takeaway for me in getting to know you better.
Definitely.
And I think that, some of the other things that we're working on will actually far eclipse one day the things we're doing in our production companies, which I think are also important and awesome. But I think we're building some much bigger things just from, being cooperative and understanding and believing that there's abundance and enough for us all to eat, and actually we can have better meals if we eat them together.
Yeah. No,
That was good.
That was good.
That's some poetic stuff right there. We can have better meals if we eat them together.
Feed them together. No, I agree, man. I mean, you hit it nail on the head. There's enough food out there for all of us, so work together. I'm about it.
Right on.
Let's keep crushing. Can we do a fist
Keep
bump?
crushing. No regrets. All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Cheerful Soundman podcast. If you like the show, it would be awesome if you could subscribe and leave a review on Apple or Spotify podcast. And follow us on Instagram at The Cheerful Soundman. That would make our day. Either way, thank you for tuning in, and we really hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you got a little something out of it too. Can't wait until we get to share the next episode, which will drop next Tuesday. So stay tuned, and until then, don't suck and don't be a jerk.